Looney Tunes Racing is a racing video game set in the Looney Tunes franchise, released on the PlayStation 1. I could have come up with a better intro, and today I decided to torture myself once again by collecting every single retro achievement in this game through this site called RetroAchievements. Can I actually stop with this? It's a site where it allows you to achievement hunt in retro games with the help of emulation. Legally, of course. Looney Tunes Racing has 44 achievements, ranging from beating each cup with a perfect score, getting gold medals on its custom challenge mode, and specific championship achievements that I'll go into detail when I get to it. Be a patient little boy, okay? Oh, and before I start, I just want to mention that for 5k subs, I'll be doing a specific challenge with Time Busters, and it's gonna be revealed once I hit the goal. So subscribe if you want to see our family live. This game has 4 game modes: Championship, Single Race, and ACME Challenges, and Multiplayer, but I have no friends. Thankfully, there are no multiplayer achievements though. It's just the first 3 game modes. I decided to do the Championship mode and get its respective completion achievements first. The game has actually only 3 cups and no difficulty selection, so the replayability is a little bit low, but thankfully, just like Bill Clinton used to say,
the game has many unique tracks that make up for the lack of replayability. Oh, did you know that I was the 42nd president of the United States?
So we start with the Rascal Cup and pick a character. The roster features all of your favorite cast: Daffy Duck, Taz, Wile E. Coyote, and question mark, and question mark. I decided to pick Taz cause his screenshot is literally mogging everyone else's. So how's the racing in Looney Tunes Racing? First off, there's no starting boost, and you can't drift. Well, you can, technically, but all you do is just shit on the floor and speed up a little bit. But what the game actually introduces are these ACME traps. If you go over that in a specific area, you'll trigger its respective trap, which would work great for slowing down the person that's ahead of you, but looks like everyone else is driving under the influence. I have never played such an easy racing game. The CPUs are as much of a threat to you as water is to fish, which is a shame. They really do go well with a side of chips. Also, what makes the game easier is the introduction of the tokens, which Gambling mentioned, bet all of your life savings on black. On a real note, in this game, you don't have item boxes, but tokens that give you a specific item based on how many tokens you collect. And it stacks. You have a cream pie, angry apple, AC power plug, puke with a bone on it, an anvil, and we are counting stars. I would go over each item and tell you what it does, but none of them matter besides the stars. They give you a speed boost and invincibility. Like I said, the tokens you collect stack, meaning in first place, you can keep getting the star, meaning no one can actually hurt you. Brilliant game design. Bubsy 3D would be proud. And because the game is easy, the achievements are also easy, right? I am using foreshadowing, a narrative device in storytelling. But yeah, on a real note, this game was incredibly easy, and getting through the championship was a piece of cake. Wait, no, that's a bad example. Cakes actually taste delicious. Well, okay, to not be so negative, the game's design is really good, and each track references many Looney Tunes characters. But I'm not here to review the game. I am here to collect achievements and whine in a 30-year-old game made for kids. The track design is good, but let's take the footage from Rascal Cup, the first cup in the game. It features 4 tracks which are all circles. Wow, bravo me, I discovered what a lap is. On a real note, the only threats on the track itself are the ACME traps. And, well, since everyone else is asleep on a wheel, and you can't keep getting the best item in first place, you have no real threat. Meaning, for the entirety of Championship mode, all you do is just drive in circles. Thankfully, the controls are actually quite good. But yeah, with the tracks being easy, I managed to get, I am not doing a Yosemite Sam accent, for getting a perfect score in Rascal Cup. And come here, you rascal, for just beating the cup. Oh, and unlocking Foghorn Leghorn too. As past me is playing Stinker and Despicable Cup, let me quickly yap about the characters. They have stats, but aren't displayed. From what I've seen, the characters you have from the start all control the same. And from the unlockable characters, you have the heavyweights, which are heavy in weights, they're hard to control. And short kings, you have more floatier controls. They turn with a slight breeze of the analog stick. The music is also It's not catchy nor memorable as Lost in Time, Time Busters, nor especially Sheep Raider, but it fits each track's theme. And whoops! Looks like I was yapping so long that I got the Beaten and Perfect Cup achievements for Stinker and Despicable Cup. Oh, and I also got Make Taz win again 2020 what? Ah yeah, if you win Despicable Cup, which I'm having a bad day. You get greeted to that specific character's ending movie. You have the genie, who I'm certain appears in only one episode and that's it, who'll grant that character's wish. And for Taz, he becomes the President of the United States. Well, with the current events, he might actually be a better candidate. And since unlocking his ending movie is an achievement, guess what? You have to do the same for each character in the game. And that means I have to replay Despicable Cup an additional 6 times. 5 times for playing as the rest of the characters you can play at the start, and 1 for any unlockable character. So... Bugs wishes for every single character in the world. Wow, how original. How long did it take them to come up with that? Marvin wishes to destroy the world, but of course he doesn't. Lola's wishes to wear a pink dress. Daffy's wishes to be a fucking swashbuckler. What? Wally Coyote's wishes to get the Roadrunner, but ends up on Live Leak instead. And finally, the reason as to why you can beat Despicable Cup with any unlockable character is because the ending is exactly the same. The main 6 drive off into the sunset. You made me replay the exact same cup 7 times. I may not have friends, but I certainly do have Stockholm Syndrome with this game now. Oh, and here's the rest of the ending movie achievements, because I apparently keep track of achievements now. The next thing I decided to do was the ACME challenges. You basically have 3 floors. Don't ask why they're floors. Apparently we're at a museum because, of course. And each floor has 5 challenges, like the disintegrating pistol, the first challenge on the first floor. Don't ask me why they're called like that, they have nothing to do with the challenge itself. Either way, we have to hit 6 people and finish first for the gold medal. You see, I actually thought I had 5 million IQ because I collected enough tokens for the anvil, which by the way drops an anvil on everyone in front of you. I did that and it only counted towards 1 tag. I love this game. But yeah, I then decided to use the homing pies for most of my tags. Yes, the one where someone threw up in a bowl. And then anvils for the guy in first place because he was 2 countries ahead of me. And I unfortunately had to restart because I couldn't catch up with him. How could this happen to me? But on my second attempt, after getting the true kart game experience, I did more of the same thing and won. The next challenge is Bed Springs, Me When Your Mom, where you have to collect 20 musical notes under a time limit. I told you the names make no sense. And you'll get the gold medal if you collect them within 35 seconds. This one took some time as I had to find a good route to collect them in a given time limit. That and the hitbox of the musical notes are the size of an ant. Oh, and it really doesn't like you when you drift. Here's what I did to get the Chivo. I immediately went forward, circled the big poo brown structure, did a U-turn to circle around the other structure, and just collected the rest to get the gold medal. The difficulty increase was crazy actually. It took me 10 minutes to get this. No way, a skill issue in Looney Tunes Racing. Next up is Tornado Kit, where you have to finish each lap before the time runs out, and, well, you race with 0 racers in a track from the first cup, so you have no distractions. Therefore, being the gamer that I am, I got it on my first try. I even got hit by a stinky red man. That's how good I am at Vidya Gums. For Iron Carrot, you have to collect letters B, U, G, and S and win, which it kind of reminds me of a certain kart racer also on the PlayStation 1, but I don't know, I think I'm making stuff up right now. I didn't get this on my first try because I didn't know you have to collect them in order, even though it literally said I have to collect them in order. Look, being an epic gamer does not include being literate, okay? Other than that, it was also very easy. I mean, the letters are all in front of you. The last challenge on the first floor is Birdseed, where you have to race Porky Pig and win, which I don't even need to explain anything else. I got it on my first try. The second floor was more so the same. Clue Collector has you win without braking and drifting. It was a little bit wonky to get used to it at first, and I was third for most of the race, but I still got it on my first try. Giant Kite Kit, like the first floor, has you beat a track before the time runs out, and, well, it was still very easy. For Giant Rubber Band, you have to win without hitting walls, and this actually was a first try challenge too. Drifting is the go out here. And I also think if you get the invincibility stars, you can hit the walls and it won't count. IDK, I'm not too hyperfixated on Looney Tunes Racing to do research on this. Ultimatum Dispatcher, again, like the first floor has you tag opponents. This time, 8 times instead of 6. Ooh. This one is a little bit more difficult, as the other opponents are way too far away for you to hit them with anything. But nothing the power of blacksmithing can't fix. And a lot of rain damage, like a lot of rain damage. I got the gold medal after 3 retries, because on the first one and the second retry was because Marvin called me a slur. Boomerang was another challenge race, this time against Elmer Fu. And now we move on to the third and final floor. I do not want to sound like a broken record, it was easy. We start the third floor off with Battleship Plate, where you have to collect 30 space blasters within a time limit. And for the gold medal, you have to collect them within 52 seconds. And well, just like with the challenge in the first floor, it took some time because I had to find the best route to get the gold medal. This map was bigger than the last one though, but it still wasn't that bad. At the start, I circled around the blasters in the middle of the map, climbed up here, then circled around these 2 areas, and went back to the middle to collect the last blaster. This one actually took 5 minutes. I can't believe I am so good at a children's racing game. Now we move on to extra sticky glue, and would you look at that, you have to not hit walls. Wow, so cool that I couldn't have come up with 15 unique challenges. And yes, it was a first try win. Mouse Attractor, what the fuck, is another tagging challenge. This time you have to tag opponents 12 times, and pie, just pie, a lot of pie. And of course, you can't forget the brain fractures. But yeah, just like with the rest of the challenges, I got this on my first try as well. For integrating pistol, you have to finish each lap before the time runs out. And oh wait, I didn't get this on my first try. What? Well, this is awkward. I got it to my second try, even though I did the same type of movement in my last attempt. And the last ACME challenge is Rocket Powered Skates, where you have to fight against a hairy yeti and win. And, well, what did you expect? For there to be a difficulty increase? Haha, you're not funny. And with that, we have beaten the ACME challenge mode, and gotten every achievement related to it. Which is, by the way, half of the game set in under an hour. Wow, this game is so easy, guys. I'm gonna have such an easy time getting the last 13 achievements. I wonder why I named the video the way I did. Oh yeah, there's a cutscene where if you beat the ACME floor, the racers enter the museum and it takes a big shit. Now that we have the main 2 game modes completed, I decided to first do the single race achievements to get them out of the way. See, when you win a Grand Prix, you unlock a track that's only accessible in the single race mode. The first one is Wacky Land, and you have to win it while using a sex offender. Oh wow, this track is so colorful. So many things to see. Oh yeah, for these single race achievements, I forgot to record them locally, so I have to use stream footage. Sorry, not sorry, deal with it, noob. Oh yeah, I'm a streamer now too, I guess. I stream every time I feel like it, so check it out when I'm live. Yeah, you have to do it. Like I said, you want to see your family live, right? Winning on Wacky Land grants us boy perfect camouflage, and for the next track, Planet Y, you have to win it as Doc Dodgers. And they took the whole you drive around in circles thing way too seriously. Huh. Either way, winning gets us the Conquest for the Planet Y Chivo, and if you win ACME Factory as the evil scientist, my favorite character, right behind the good doctor and the neutral assistant. Also, why do you have leprosy? You good, bro. Either way, if you win here as the evil scientist, you get the pinnacle of ACME products. Okay, now that we got the easy stuff out of the way, let's now focus on the achievements that actually offer some kind of challenge. I grouped them into 3 groups. We have the free no wall hit, rival attacks, and tokenless achievements. Let's first focus on the no wall hit achievements, since that's what I went for first. As the name suggests, you have to win each cup with a certain character without hitting a wall once. For Rascal Cup, you have to do it as Foghorn Leghorn, and for these achievements, I was very careful and drifted more than a Mustang, and always picked up tokens for the invincibility stars, which again, don't make you hit the wall. For Rascal Cup's tracks, and honestly for most tracks in the game, they're very spacious, making it very hard to hit the walls. But of course, just like with every single video that I decide to make, me being me led me to hit the wall on the third track of the cup. Yeah, I always manage to get myself humbled. Bravo me. Oh, by the way, this is a perfect time to talk about this. For these achievements, you can't restart the track. No. That would make way too much sense. You have to replay the entire cup. This factor totally won't be the end of me, like, at all. Either way, on my next attempt, I managed to get past Desert Dash, and after some really close calls on Gossamer's castle, like holy shit, I need a trip to the ER now. And to the toilet. I got, are you winning, son? Yeah, I told you I don't want to do impressions. For Stinker Cup, you have to do it with Sylvester. And I mean, it was more so the same as Rascal Cup. I can't really script nor tell you how much I had to tilt the analog stick and for how long I had to hold the drift button to avoid the walls. I just used the same strategy and walked out. Yeah, I don't think I should have gotten away with some of these close calls. For those who did or are doing the set, I went for the sewers of dungeon disasters like this, slowly, like foreplay with your mom. I can't believe this is my second time doing a your mom joke in the video. But yeah, I even got suffering succotash on my first try. It wasn't that hard, unlike my dick with your mom. For Despicable Cup, you have to play as Granny. And before we continue, I just have to ask one singular question. When does Granny strip off? And again, this wasn't that hard. The only times I had to restart were here in the first track because apparently Daffy hates women. And here on the last track in the cup, where I thought it was a good idea to drift in a part of the track where the only direction is forward. But besides that, like I said with the last two cups, I paid more attention to what's happening on the track. Drifted like I was in a Red Bull TikTok and used invincibility stars. And besides those two restarts, I got driving Miss Granny on my first try. Before I continue on with the two other achievement types, there's this one miscellaneous one called Phenomenal Cosmic Power, where you have to, as Smokey, use magical dust at least 30 times in a cup and win overall. Oops, looks like the power-up was called magical dust. Well, I at least don't need the smartasses to point it out in the comment section. And well, this is literally play the game normally, but with a genie who nobody really cares about. Also, why is he on a skateboard? You can't even ollie. Oh, never mind, you can. I am so sorry for underestimating you, Smokey, please. I decided to play on Rascal Cup, and oh wow, I got the achievement of my first try. Who would have thought? We have 6 achievements left until I get the sweet and juicy mastery badge, and specifically, we have the free rival attacks and tokenless achievements. I decided to do Rascal Cup's tokenless achievement first, but let's ignore that for now. I focus on the rival attacks achievements since I got them all in under 1 hour total, whereas this singular achievement took me an hour. Oops, I just spoiled it. I'm sorry, but the Wrath of John token will be talked about soon. If you don't understand what I mean, the rival attacks achievements have you, well, attack rivals a certain amount of times during a cup. Imagine the tag missions from ACME challenges, but now you have to do it for an entire cup. For example, SS son of Aba, bitch, has you hit rivals 24 times in Rascal Cup with Porky Pig. 24 times isn't that much, honestly. You only have to hit people 6 times per track. And get this, I met the requirement in the second lap of the third track in the game. The reason for this is quite simple. You see, I found how good the standard pie is for this. All I did was pick up 1 token, slow down if I had to, and just shoot it with the person that was in front of me. Yeah, it was that easy. Although on my Rascal Cup run, I also accidentally had some unplanned bombings. I did not expect the CPUs to be this stupid. Okay, now that I think about it, I probably should have worded it better. Unplanned bombings kinda does sound really bad. Anyway, yeah, with me hitting 24 rivals on the third track of the cup, I just raced normally on the last one and got the achievement. For Stinker Cup, you have to attack rivals at least 35 times using Hector. Honestly, you're just a Spike the Dog ripoff, and for anyone offended, Copensive, I don't care that he debuted earlier than Spike. Since Stinker has 5 tracks, that means you have to at least average 7 hits per track. But still, I used the good old pie strategy for the first cup, and that also worked amazingly. It wasn't that hard as well, except the fact that Hector's cart is so heavy. It feels like someone added wheels to a house. Oh wait. Never mind. Either way, it wasn't that hard. And I even had another accidental discharge. Never mind, that sounds even worse. Oh yeah, on this cup, I actually used the bombs to my advantage and placed them on boost pads and ACME traps, which always guaranteed a hit. I guess you can call this a planned bomb. I should stop before YouTube straight up deletes my channel. But yeah, I got Hector hinders haters on my first try as well. And to not repeat myself, I also got Gossamer's grudge on my first try too. You have to hit rivals 48 times in Despicable Cup, and well, I literally used the exact same strategy as the last two cups. There's nothing new or special I did that makes something worth noting. Now we have exactly 3 achievements left, and they're the tokenless ones. If you haven't figured that out already, you have to beat each cup further better without collecting a single token. That's like saying, hey, boot up Mario Kart and beat it without collecting a single item box, and you have no restarts. Meaning, if you collect a token, which is very easy to do, you have to restart from track 1. You know what? At times like this, I would usually crash out and my fist would end up for my monitor and for my controller. But I just have to ask, why? Why would anyone think that this is a good idea? Yes, of course. This wasn't fun. No, I didn't learn anything new or cool about the game. The only thing I want to do is never boot up the game again. I am aware that I haven't even started explaining the achievement in detail, but I think we both know that this is, in fact, really hard. And I'll just say it again. That's like saying, hey, boot up Mario Kart and beat it without collecting a single item box. So let the Wrath of John token start with Rascal Cup, where you have to not touch tokens using Rocky. Wow, look at him. He's so cool. Driving with one hand, along with his hat that is the same size as his entire body. And like I already said, this took me an hour to get. Well, let me actually correct myself. It actually took me an hour and 30 minutes for 4 tracks, while Stinker has 5 and Despicable 6. I ain't gonna have such a fun time. Honestly, the only reason it took this long was because I went in without that strategy, which led me to collect the same token not once, not twice, but 3 times in a row. Well, not really. I did go to the corners to avoid collecting the tokens. What? You want more? You are watching a Mashtempo video. I always go into these achievement sets with no plan. I mean, I don't really have to defend myself and say why this took a long time, since, well, you're avoiding fucking item pickups that are everywhere and that are made to be basically unavoidable. And that is why we're gonna take advantage of the CPUs, which I'll talk about more in the next cup. You see, we can take advantage of the achievement description. There's one loophole. You only need to finish 3rd. So instead of racing, I became the world's worst Uber driver, just following the CPUs around, praying they vacuum up every token. But let me first show you something, and let me ask you this. Does this look fair? What happened here is I picked up the token the first frame it appeared, and this happened more than once on all 3 cups. This is the biggest issue when you're tackling these achievements. You will never consistently know how much time you have left until the token the CPU went over respawns back. They take way longer to respawn than the average item box in a kart racer. Yes, but still, as someone who had to endure this BS, I still have no idea how long it takes for the tokens to respawn back. So yeah, it was very nice for the tokens to appear before I could stop myself from collecting it. It was so nice, in fact, that I wanted to grab Rocky's kart and drive it onto the wrong lane. Top it off with the fact that, even though for these achievements you have to play as lightweight characters, passing in between and sometimes on the corners of the tokens felt like total luck. Like here, on the last lap of the last track, where I didn't steer right for another 3 millimeters and picked up the token. Oh yeah, and the last villain of this challenge is the cloud item. Do I need to explain more? It literally blocks your entire vision of what's happening in front of you. So yeah, this is why getting "we don't need no stinking tokens" see took an hour and a half. We now move on to the Stinker Cup, and this time you have to avoid the tokens using Elmer Fudd. Now let me ask you something. This cup has 5 tracks, 1 more than Rascal. So how long do you think it took me to get this achievement? Well, on stream, when you not fucking like, please Daffy, yes, go to tokens, please, into me, bro. Cool. You just can't. Here they'll pick up the token. I like MGM. Is the movie game, right? Without collecting any tokens. I'm going to pick it up. Shut. Come on. This achievement made me rage quit the stream, and I decided to do this achievement offline. And, well, it took me... Wait, 0000 doesn't make any sense. Yes, it took me 8 fucking hours to get this achievement. First off, don't mind the dancing wolf that was present during the stream. He's just here to have a good time. Anyway, remember how I said I'll get to the CPUs on this cup? Well, that's because in Rascal Cup, the issue was with tokens respawning right on top of you. And here, the issue is with the CPUs just passing through the tokens. The strategy is to follow the CPUs since some tokens are literally unavoidable by yourself. And here, the CPUs just decide to go in between the tokens. You do not understand how angry this made me. It literally made no sense for them to avoid the tokens. They basically said, fuck you, lol, and made this even worse than it already is. Also, here they just decide to change their mind and take a different path. The split second they're about to collect a token because XD, lol, Lemao, and also, on this cup, they can also push you into the tokens. This happened more than once. Also, guess what? The tokens have a really big hitbox, and I also had instances where my body and my kart straight up weren't touching the token. I am going to replay this in slow motion. I am not crazy. Well, I am after doing this, but that's not what I meant. And guess why they have a big hitbox? Well, that's because they're item boxes that weren't meant to be avoided, but to aid you in getting a higher position. There was also one fail where one of the CPUs hit me exactly where the tokens were, and because I was slowed down because I was hit, I didn't have enough speed and picked up the token. Fuck this achievement. I didn't even mention the fails that were also present in the past cup. You know, tokens respawning right as I was about to pass them, which honestly, if you ask me, was way more bullshit here, because there were so many times where I didn't even realize I picked up a token until I noticed the items showing on the left. Oh, and of course, the cloud that gave me cataracts. For God's sake, you're just water vapor. Get out of my sight. I managed to yap for almost an entire page, and that barely covered a half of my total attempt time, which was, let me repeat myself for the millionth time, 8 hours. And I basically had the exact same issues when I attempted these off stream. Now, was this a general issue or were there track specific issues? Yes, of course, bro. The beginning portion of the lap runs at like 3 frames per year, causing a lot of misinputs. The second track isn't technically hard as every token is avoidable by yourself, but the track is over 4 minutes long, making every single attempt to drag on and on and on because of the return of the color orange, the track. But these were child's play compared to the tracks that I had the most issues with, and those were Dungeon Disasters and You Belong in Pictures, which are the second to last and last tracks in the cup. So yes, if you fail here, which is at the end of the cup, you have to restart from the beginning. In these two, you have sections where you have to wait for the CPUs to pass over the tokens, but it just doesn't. And yes, before you scream at me in the comments, yes, Planet X has the same thing, but I barely had any issues on this part. Whereas in these two, I wanted to use Elmer's shotgun and announce mash hunting season and shoot myself in the... I just don't understand why they avoid the tokens. Why? This makes the achievement so much more needlessly hard than it already is. I literally think the CPUs were sentient and were trying to simulate the video game version of being waterboarded. And they did it. Like here in Dungeon Disasters, where I was second and waited for CPU behind me to pick up the token. And not only did the person in the third pass them, so did the fourth and the fifth. And finally, the person at 6th place picked it up simply because they were right next to the person in front of them. Thankfully, they did pick it up, but if this isn't a good example of the CPU's utter bullshit, then frankly, I don't know what is. And I know Frank really well. Or again here, where I was pushed into the tokens. And You Belong in Pictures, where I couldn't see anything, and picked up a token as soon as it spawned back. But even with all of this RNG disaster, I did it. I pushed through it. I pushed through it like a mother giving birth. I fought against the CPUs. I avoided the tokens. And in the last lap of the last track, thankfully, Lola went for the token that was in front of me. And I got be very careful and felt nothing. because I spent all my free time doing a singular achievement in a Looney Tunes game. And instead of doing something productive, I spent 8 hours grinding it. 8 hours! If I can give more advice besides good luck, lol. If you place 4 for worse, you have to restart. And believe it or not, this restart doesn't eliminate the achievement progression, so don't restart unless you collect a token. This leaves us with one more achievement left. Despicable Cup without collecting tokens as Yosemite Sam. And just like with the last cup, I really want you to think how long this took me, compared to everything I just said, with you knowing how the CPUs act and how broken some parts may be. Well, I'll let you know that for the I Hate You Rabbit achievement, it took an hour. No, I am not joking. In fact, I took under an hour to get the achievement. Yes, even less than the Rascal Cup achievement. 8 hours! Okay, I'll be honest. The only reason it didn't take as long as Rascal or Stinger Cup was because I practiced the tracks in the single race mode. And yet, even if we tally up the time I spent practicing, it took me like 3 hours to get the achievement, which, again, compared to 8 hours is nothing. In fact, I'd say that this is the easiest cut to get the tokenless achievement, because all of them can be beaten by yourself with no help from the CPUs. I'm actually being serious. I will show you on each lap where I bump the walls to avoid the tokens, and frankly, because I am doing this, I have to talk for an extended period of time to fit all of the clips. So I am basically saying nothing, but I am at least showing something. Is this enough? Well, if it isn't, tough luck. You didn't have to spend time learning how to play every single track in the game perfectly. The only mistakes were here, because I went the wrong way where I didn't have enough space to dodge the token. Here because of the same reason, and here because I steered too far to the token and collected it. Yes, only 4 mistakes. 4. 8 hours. Anyway, after almost 22 hours of grinding this game's achievements, I went past the finish line, got the achievement, and officially mastered Looney Tunes Racing. I have never said this in any of my Retro Achievement videos, but here I have to say this. No matter how much you like Looney Tunes, or kart racers, or even both, please, for the love of God, don't attempt to master the set. Feels weird not recommending a set to play, but honestly, these tokenless achievements ruined the game for me. Like I said, I didn't learn anything new, I didn't have fun, and I just wish for it to be over. Again, of course, in these videos I have nothing against the achievement developer, but for the viewers who have seen the Tasks Wanted video, yes, the minigame achievements were hard, they were bullshit, but they didn't require luck. Yes, it did require you to basically play them perfectly, but you didn't have to get an insane amount of luck to be able to get them. Here, you do. Sure, the last cup is a display of skill, but do I have to keep reminding you? 8 hours. Literally the other 41 achievements are fine. They offer a good challenge, and I love how creative the set is, but these tokenless achievements are just not to achieve. I know people will complain if they get removed because, well, I spent 12 hours total getting them only for them to be removed, so I literally propose one simple solution. Allow people to restart the track. There you go. You can only restart 3 times per cup, leaving a lot of room for strategy. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you have a buck to spare, make sure to donate to my coffee. Follow me on Blue Sky, and tune in next time when I cover a familiar orange critter. No, not Crash, I mean...